Good morning, brothers and sisters. At least you didn't fall for it. Because I wanted to see and make sure after such a long time, if you were really paying attention, that it's afternoon. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon, honorable delegates and our friends who are here with us today. Before I really start, I really want to acknowledge the presence of the former ambassador, Mr. Carl Roberts, CGM, Sir Carl Roberts, and I wanted to put it in this perspective, so that is why I said Sir Carl Roberts, CGM, if I have the other letters at the back. Brother Roberts, I want to welcome you, a former executive member of the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union, who has played an instrumental part here to see this organization grow to where we are. We want to welcome you. Global temperature is rising. The ocean is getting warmer. The ice sheets are shrinking. Sea level is rising. Extreme events are increasing in frequency. Please allow me to adopt and observe the protocols already established. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, honorable delegates, climate change is real and presents a fundamental threat to human health. It affects the physical environment as well as all aspects of both the natural and human systems, including social and economic conditions and the functioning of the health systems. It is therefore a threat multiplier, undermining and potentially reversing decades of health progress. As climate conditions change, more frequent and intensifying weather and climate events are observed, including hurricanes, extra heat, floods, drought, and wildfires. These weather and climate hazards affect health both directly and indirectly, increasing the risk of deaths, non-communicable diseases, and the spread of infectious diseases, including the most recent COVID-19, which affected us all. Ironically, brothers and sisters, our annual Delegates Conference takes place around the peak of the hurricane season. This year, we saw the history being created by Hurricane Beryl, the earliest Category 5 hurricane to form in recorded history. This monster storm affected our brothers and sisters in other Caribbean islands, the Yucatan Peninsula, and the Gulf Coast of the United States in early July. Climate change is also having an impact on our health workforce. All aspects of health are affected by climate change, from clean air, water and soil, to food systems and livelihood. If not addressed immediately, further delay in tackling climate change will increase health risk, undermine decades of improvement in global health, and contravene our collective commitments to ensure decent human rights and good governance for all. Should this be allowed to be continued unchecked? Let us look more closely to what is happening in our island, the Caribbean, and further afield. Hurricanes, though not new to our region, are becoming more ferocious, bigger, and more frequent. These hurricanes are causing massive destructions to infrastructure, life, and the environment. There is need for urgent action by all stakeholders to avert catastrophic health impacts and prevent millions of climate change-related deaths. Climate change is a global challenge that does not respect national borders. Emissions anywhere affect people everywhere. Brothers and sisters, climate change is real, and it is happening. As we seek to review what is happening, there is also a sustainable need to promote actions that both reduce carbon emission and improve health, build better, more climate resilient and environmentally sustainable health systems, and protect health from a wide range of impacts of climate change. Why do we need climate action? People are experiencing the significant impacts of climate change due to the greenhouse gas emissions from human activities, which are driving the change. Without action, the world's average surface temperature is projected to rise over the 21st century and is likely to surpass 3 degrees Celsius this century. The poorest and most vulnerable people are being affected most. Can we help to bring about a change? The pace of change is quickening as more people are turning to renewable energy and a range of other measures that will reduce emissions and increase adaptation efforts. We as individuals and proud citizens can also play a part by making better choices about our energy source, the food we eat, and by us taking a collective action to pressuring the government and businesses to change their policies and business practices to address some of the changes that can foster a more sustainable chemistry for the environment. We all can reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. For many years, as I traveled internationally, I have seen where people are separating their garbage products, getting rid of them or getting rid of the old man, plastic. Here at home, we dump everything in one bin, completely ignorant of what our actions are affecting. What are some of the solutions to climate change that we can introduce? One, ending our reliance on fossil fuel. Greater energy sufficiency. Sustainable transportation. Better forestry management and sustainable agriculture. Yes, plant more. Learn how to recycle. Use less plastic, and invest in renewable energy to include technologies like solar, wind, wave, and others. Hearing all that I have outlined, brothers and sisters, and shared, honorable delegates, may cause us to feel overwhelmed and may also make us believe that climate change is too big to solve. But with the highlights of what causes climate change, I share some answers and now ask the question of how we can make it happen. To make it work, the change that is needed, we need strong international cooperation between governments and businesses, including the culprits, the most polluting sectors. We have to change our policies and practices to facilitate and adopt what is needed for our very own survival. We need to demand more effective measures from our government and duty bearers, including businesses, to foster policy coherence and help ensure that climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts are adequate, sufficiently ambitious, non-discriminatory, and compliant with human rights obligations. In the 1990s, we formulate the concept of small island developing states, SIDS. This agenda was developed to help protect the members of this group from environmental degradation. Timelines were established for certain activities to take place to help begin the work to reduce the ills of the environmental damage in our region. We need a better disaster management system in Antigua and Barbuda. We need to lobby our concerns and hold the government and businesses to change. We cannot afford to sit still any longer. Our planet is warming, and if we do not act now, we would be signing away our future and the very catastrophic events taking place around us and further afield. Brothers and sisters, honorable delegates, during this annual delegates conference, we hope to hear from you, our trusted members, your ideas on ways and means that we as a union, as a progressive body, can effect change within our twin island immediately. We could become more threatened, extinct, or endangered. In addition, we need to know the outcome of the SIDS conference held here in May of 2024 and would love for the report and decisions adopted at that conference be shared so that we can have an idea on what we can all do to make Antigua and Barbuda a better haven to reside. As I conclude, honorable delegates, climate change will, and I want to really stress on it, will and has profoundly reshaped the labor markets in countries world over, including our Antigua and Barbuda, in ways that we will see the creation of new types of jobs and opportunities for workers. Climate change will also see the destruction of some traditional jobs and the replacing of existing ones. The transition from a fossil fuel economy to a green economy can be deemed to be a frightening, challenging experience if not handled correctly. Brothers and sisters, honorable delegates, as cited above, the destruction of some traditional jobs and the replacement of existing ones will bring about the need for workers to adapt to a new competencies and acquire new skills to survive in this new world order. The task to anticipate and respond to these trends and the impact on workers must form a critical part of the Antigua and Barbuda Workers' Union agenda on climate action. As part of the Antigua and Barbuda Workers' Union agenda on climate action, we must champion the cause on the government to set up a national task force with all stakeholders to begin the development of an all-inclusive, comprehensive policy plan on climate resilience and sustainability for Antigua and Barbuda. There is an urgent need for trade unions and all stakeholders to be a part of the government global agreements on climate change to ensure that critical component of national buy-in and awareness of the set goals and targets. Brothers and sisters, the Antigua and Barbuda Workers' Union is calling on the government to ensure that a social protection system is established to help mitigate any negative fallouts from the destruction of the traditional jobs and the emergence of new ones within the job market as workers strive to adjust with the changes in their work life. In addition, brothers and sisters, the Antigua and Barbuda Workers Union is calling on the government to establish a new job training facility where workers will have the opportunity to retool themselves with new skills and competencies that will be emerging because of climate change activities. A re-education and awareness drive of the workforce is a requisite to counteract any negative impact in the country because of climate change. The time for climate action begins now, here, today. Small acts, when multiplied by millions of people, can transform the world. Brothers and sisters, I thank you and look forward for a successful conference.